Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Today I'm going to be pruning up this Alberta spruce. I repotted this spruce in spring, and normally I wouldn't prune a tree that's just been repotted, but this tree had a really good root system on it. It was nice and radial, lots of fine feeder roots, so I'm confident that I can do some pruning today, not, taking it back too far, because if you weaken a spruce too much, they have a hard job recovering, so I want to keep the tree vigorous. Here is a look at the tree. I'm styling this tree into a tight conical form, and I want my lower branches to kind of be either cascading or descending, and as I go up maybe to 2/3 the height of the tree, I want the branches horizontal, and then in the upper third they'll start to go vertical up into the apex. I'm shaping this tree without wire, just using clip and grow on it. So I've got to look for buds on these lower branches that are cascading and prune back to those, so I get my branches growing in the directions that I want. If you look at the inner part of some of the branches, there's a lot of good back budding happening, which is nice to have because you can always prune them back quite tightly and then grow the branches out how you want them. In nature, there's many different forms a spruce will take, depending on the conditions it's growing under. But generally, in a forest setting or in an open clearing, you will get this conical type shape to a spruce. I'll also be pruning the tree to try and balance the vigor on the tree. You can see up top in the tree where the tree is the most vigorous, you can see there's all kinds of new shoots. It's very dense. And as you go down the tree, the vigor decreases to the lower branches, which are always the weakest. So I'm going to have to prune the top of the tree a little harder, and as I go down the tree, the pruning will get a little lighter, so I get a balanced vigor on all the branches. I'm going to start the pruning on the lower branches. So as I said, I'm looking for branches that cascade. So here's a really nice one here. That's descending or cascading, and then the branch continues straight and it goes quite upright at the tip here. So I need to prune it back to some of these downward facing branches. There's another good one out the back here. There's a reasonable one out the front here. It's not going up too far. Let me just get rid of this old pine needle there. So I think in this case, I'm looking for buds here. I don't see any here. There's a bud at the very back in here that's kind of going back. It's not a very good direction. So I think I'm quite safe to hard prune this branch back to at least here. So here I go, taking the whole tip off that branch. Just like that. So I think that keeps enough vigor in the branch that it'll grow strongly this summer. I'm going to take off this branch that's growing up here, and that'll get lots of light to this branch, these growing tips that I want to grow. So that takes care of the pruning on this lowest branch here. So the next branch is over here. It's quite a weak one. It's fairly short. But again, I can at least prune off this growth that's going upwards. And I think I'll take this tip off too, to develop these branches, which are more horizontal. On the next branch up, I've got some very cascading branches. And again, the branch starts to go vertical here. So I'm going to prune it off right into here, shortening it quite a bit. The next branch up is this one. I've got a cluster of buds here. There's two downward facing buds, which are good. Those are the ones I'll develop into the branch. And then I've got a lot of vigor at the tip here. I've got a branch coming up the front, so I think I'll take it off here, taking the tip off the branch, keeping this as my vigorous growing tip until these develop better and stronger. The next branch up is this one coming up the back here, and I have kind of a double branch in that area, maybe even a triple branch. So I need to select the one I want to keep, and there's some good buds there. So I think I can just take the tip off here, right here, like that, shortening that branch. And then when these other shoots develop stronger, I'll pick one of them to develop. I don't want to prune them off yet. This branch coming out the front here, I've got some good buds back here. There's some growing right at the base of the tree here. There's a good strong cascading bud here, so I'm going to take off the top of this branch, and I think I'll go right here. Now I've got two kind of cascading branches, so as this one grows stronger, I can prune off this upper one back to this. The next branch is this one, and I have a new shoot that's growing out the bottom, which I'll eventually develop into my final branch, but I'll keep both for now. So I'll take this one off right here. The next branch is this one. It's got some good horizontal shoots, so I can take it off right here. Quite a hard prune on that branch. Then I've got this branch here that I need to prune. I've got a good kind of horizontal branch here. I got a vertical one here. It'd be a little risky to cut everything off and just keep this one horizontal branch. So, well, actually there's another one out the back. So I'm probably safe in this case to take it right off. And I will. I think there's enough foliage on there to keep that branch quite happy. Then going up, I've got a few new shoots here coming off the trunk, and I'm going to leave those on because they may become the actual branches in the future. There's a shoot or a branch here. It has a good back bud on the bottom, some on the bottom here. So on this branch, I can at least take the tip off like that. And could I go further is the question. I think I could. I think I could take this one off also. So I'll come in here and prune that tip off like that. The next branch up, I have kind of two bar branches here. And above there's kind of another set of bar branches. I would like to get rid of one of them. You can already see at the base of these two branches, the trunk kind of is swelling there. And if I leave both branches on, that will continue to get thicker in this area, and you'll get this kind of strange, it'll get inverse taper, and then it'll go skinny, and so it will be a problem in the future. So I need to take one of those branches off. And I need something out this direction of the tree, and out the back I have this branch, which is higher, that can take the place of this other branch. I can grow it out in that direction. So I'm going to remove this branch here, and I'll leave a bit of a stub on it like that. That gets rid of that bar branch. So this branch, I've already pruned the tip off last time I pruned the tree. There's a few buds at the base here, so one of these could be the new branch, replacing this thicker branch eventually. But for now, I think I'll just take, I'm going to take the tip off right to here, like that. This branch here, I've got a good kind of horizontal branch here. I'll just take the tip off here because I have another bud underneath there that can grow a little more horizontally. So I'm up now about, 2/3 the height of the tree. So I want my branches kind of horizontal here, and then as I go up in the apex, they'll slowly go upwards. And this 2/3 height is just something I've noticed on coniferous trees. Generally, the horizontal branches are about, you know, 1/3 down from the top of the tree. Below that, they start to cascade, and above that, they start to go upright. But it's not true for every coniferous tree, for sure. It's just a general observation. Definitely not a rule. You can do what you want. So this branch here, I've got a new shoot back here. I could take the tip off here, and it's pretty thick and a lot of vigor here. I have so many, there's like a bundle of foliage. And I definitely need to do a bit of thinning. So I'm going to remove these kind of upright shoots, keeping this branch a little more horizontal. And prune back the tip a bit, prune off this bud. Prune off these two buds. And that thins it out, so it'll grow with a little less vigor. This branch, I've got some buds back here which are good. And the same thing, I can't really prune the branch back, but I can do a bit of thinning. I can remove some of these buds shooting straight upwards. And do a bit of bud thinning. Just so there's not so many branches forming here. Again, trying to balance the vigor of the tree. Okay, I've got a branch out the back here. There's some good kind of cascading branches coming off of it. That will, you know, they'll straighten out, they'll become more horizontal. I can take this upwards tip off, and I can take this shoot off. There's lots of buds back in here. I can also take this tip off, bring it in more compact. If you don't keep the tight conical shape, the lower branches will get shaded out, and they could weaken and die off eventually. Up here, I've got a vertical shoot I can remove. And I've got all kinds of buds back here, so I think I'm going to prune it back. Again, you know, you can prune more vigorously in the apex. Here, I've got buds back here, and I think I'm going to prune back to those. Taking the tip off here. Again, bringing it the top in more compact. This branch here. So I'm starting to get into more of my upright branch style. There's a shoot growing straight up here. I'm going to remove that. I've got some good back buds there. I'm going to take the central leader out of this branch, like that, and then we'll prune this tip off, making it a little more compact. There's, again, some more buds that'll grow in here. There's one on the inside I want to remove, though. Don't want to keep that. This branch, I like these new buds, so I'm going to remove these strong growing tips, pruning it back, keeping it nice and compact. There's a branch growing inside here I'm going to take out. Shoot, there. This one, you can see I've got some good growing tips here, and there's a part that sticks up here. I'm going to prune that away. Again, you know, a little more aggressive in the apex of these trees as far as pruning goes.
Here I've got a good bud here. I think I better just thin this out. So, what do I take out? I guess I take this vertical one out. This one's too horizontal. I'll take that one off. And maybe this vertical one also. Like that. That thins that branch out. And then I'm getting up into the very apex here now. So here's a vertical shoot I can remove. So I think, you know, the top, the branch formation looks pretty good. Everything's going upwards. It's just a matter of thinning these clusters of buds. Again, kind of zapping vigor out of the apex so the vigor goes a little more evenly distributed among all the branches on the tree. Yes, lots of thinning in the apex here. So I'm basically removing anything growing straight up in favor of kind of more flowing branches. Here's a shoot sticking straight up I can take out. Here I'm very, very dense with buds. I'll take out this one. Take out these ones a bit better. And take out the middle one here. So that thins that branch out. Here's one shooting straight up I can take out. I've got one branch growing above another here. And this one's horizontal and this one's going upwards, so I'm going to take my horizontal branch off. Just giving a little more light to this area so it's not quite so crowded. There's a branch here that's not going in a radial direction, so I'll remove that. You want your branches, you know, radiating out from the trunk like the spokes of a wheel. You know, unless you're going for like a windblown style or something. So some more thinning here. Now I have a real cluster of shoots in the very top of the tree. And I have an opportunity to just cut the top off and shorten the tree a bit. I think I'll do that. Take that top off like that. That just shortens the tree a bit. And then as these develop, I'll be selecting more branches in this top. But it's pretty hard to get in there and see what's going on. So I'm going to wait until they extend a bit. And then I'll reduce the number of the branches, because right now it's so dense I can't really see what's going on up here. I can see I can prune this end off, maybe this tip off, and this growing tip here. Yeah, so a little bit of thinning, but not a whole lot. Yeah, so I'll leave that until they extend a bit, and then I'll do some branch selection later on with that branch. So that has pretty well got the tree pruned up. Just a little more thinning here. Okay. So I think that's got the tree pruned up. Let's just have a look at it now. So there's a look at the tree, and you can see it's gone from, you know, quite a wide spreading conical shape to a tighter conical shape. And I'll be tightening it up even more as some of these inner buds start to develop. Then I can shorten it further. So there'll be another pruning coming, maybe, you know, early summer to midsummer on this tree. More branch selection and trying to get it even tighter, even a tighter conical shape. And you can't really get too tight a conical shape because it's easy to grow the tree out. You just let it grow. But it's very difficult to get a tight conical shape. So the tighter you can get it initially, the better off you are, and then you slowly develop your branches out and you get, you know, really nice branch direction, movement, and density and everything as you grow them out. So yeah, it's always a wise thing to do in your bonsai is prune them back further than you want the intended silhouette, and then slowly grow it out to fill out that silhouette for the future. Yeah, so that is it. I'll rotate the tree around so you can see it from all sides. And I don't know where the front is, but we'll pick a front someday. So I'm just going to rotate it around. Yeah, so I think it looks very natural. I think it's a good looking tree. Here is a look at what I pruned off the spruce today. So a fair amount. And here's, what the tree has left on it. So I don't think I'd want to take any more than that off a spruce at one time. I think that's about right. The tree will continue to grow with lots of vigor throughout the summer. And again, if you take too much off of spruce, I find they get weak and they struggle all through the summer, and then usually they die over the next winter. So you've got to keep enough foliage on it to keep the tree healthy.
This conical shaped style like this, some people might call it boring, but I love looking at them in nature because every conical shaped tree has different branch structure and they're all different. And I never used to like that style, but some people call it like a Christmas tree style. But I'm fascinated by them. Every time I go by one of these conical shaped trees, I'm always looking at the branch structure and the texture of the bark and everything. And yeah, I've kind of grown in love with the conical style. It's, I see it everywhere. All the trees around here are basically conical shaped trees. And yeah, I think it's a really cool style that you don't see a lot in bonsai. Everyone's after these weird, tortured shapes. And to me, I find it refreshing to have a tree. When you look at the tree, it looks like a tree and it's very relaxing and peaceful. Sometimes I don't want to be reminded of the harshness of nature. I just want to look at the tree and go, it's just healthy and growing beautifully in its natural form. And I find that pleasing. I find some of these trees that are just windblown or lots of dead wood or tortured trees, I find them, I don't know, unpeaceful. I find them, again, it just reminds you of the harshness of nature, not so much the beauty of nature. They're beautiful trees too. Like you see the beauty of nature overcoming its elements, and that's a cool style too. But I find it refreshing to see trees that are just peaceful trees, nothing wild or dramatic on them. And yeah, I'm drawn towards those type of trees. I just find them very relaxing. It's like a tree you would want to sit underneath it and read a book or something like that. So that is all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.